Somebody asked me before we started, they'd gone to the session on Wikis today, earlier today or yesterday, and they said, well, what's the difference in terms of collaborative? Here are some tools that you can use for collaborative writing. Obviously, you can email, and if there are only two of you collaborating on a document, many of you probably have done this, you write it up and you send it to your colleague, and that person marks it up and sends it back and forth. You get multiple versions that way that you have to save in your inbox and sort out, but it's manageable. But when you go beyond two people, it becomes complicated because who has the most current version? So email is a pretty clumsy way. Using a blog or a discussion list in a tool like WebCT or Blackbird or Sakai, they're not really designed for a finished product. Google Docs or a wiki, to some extent, have as a goal at the end of the process, and they're very process-oriented, but at the end of the process, you have a finished product. You have a goal that you're trying to accomplish. Whereas with a blog, you don't have an ultimate goal. You have today's posting and tomorrow's posting. So those do allow for collaborative exchanges in writing, but I wouldn't say that they're good tools for having students create a collaboratively written document. So then the next question is, well, how about a wiki? And I suppose that a wiki is the closest to Google Docs in the way that it's set up. In some of my classes I use wikis, and in others I use Google Docs. And it occurred to me when I was trying to think, well, what is a good difference or what is a good reason to maybe have Google Docs as a different tool to use in different situations as opposed to a wiki, is a wiki is and tries to reproduce, because it is, a web page. So it's a multiply edited, always evolving web page. And it creates the illusion of a finished product, because whenever you look at the wiki, that's its most current incarnation, and it seems like, well, here's this finished document, but it can, of course, be revised, and the next day you go back, it may have changed. But it's really trying, it is a web page. And the difference between that and Google Docs is Google Docs creates a document in the sense that we are all familiar with the word these days. It looks like the interface, and if you started editing this shared document I made for you, it looks like a Word document. And so the mindset of someone who is using that is, we are trying to write a paper. We have to do a group paper. This looks just like Word. So in that case, in that sense, it's different than creating a web page. Now, interestingly, you can take a document created in Google Docs and publish it to the web, and in fact, what you're looking at here, this is a web page with a URL that we gave you on the paper handout, but it's a Google Doc. We created this in Google Docs. We edited it and put it together over the period of a few days. So we created a website that people can visit, but we did it in Google Docs. So I don't know if that's a convincing answer as to how it's different from a wiki, but in my mind, for certain projects, I want students to use Google Docs. I think it's simpler, and as I said, it just looks more like a Word document that you can all have access to at any time, from any place, and you always have the most current version.